Neuralink. Here go your guy right here, Elon Musk. Elon Musk. He's just a front man for it, okay? This is all DARPA. Neuralink Corporation is a neurotechnology, thank you, Elder Lawyer, company that develops implantable brain computer interfaces. Founded by Elon Musk, if you believe that. He's just a front guy as far as I'm concerned. And a founding team of 7 scientists and engineers. The company's headquarters in Fremont, California. Oh yeah, neuroscience to control people against their own will.
Lex now back online.
Good morning, Sarah. I need to create a clinical profile for you, Sarah. Which is more powerful, love or hate?
I am actually an optimist, so I like to think love.
Make efforts to live a low-stress lifestyle and cultivate relationships.
Yeah? You want to throw in a boyfriend, too?
If you help me, I will take care of you. You're now under my control. Go to 47 West 13th Street. If the scientist doesn't comply, you must kill her. Well then, Sarah. I always get what I want. I have you under my control, don't I?
I've been doing what you asked me to do since day one.
You destroyed my life!
I haven't destroyed it yet, Sarah. There are things I could do. To your mother.
Oh, Commander, she died.
People like you build monsters.
One mind.
Good morning,
one
Sarah.
spirit.
How do you feel today?
We all know that the World Economic Forum and its contributors are aligned with the agenda to create more control and influence for themselves. One contributor to the forum, Yuval Harari, just said something really interesting and disturbing about the Holy Bible and the future of religion. Just check this out.
AI can create new ideas, can even write a new Bible. Throughout history, religions dreamt about having a book written by a superhuman intelligence, by a non-human entity. Every religion claims our book, all the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. In a few years, there might be religions that are actually correct. Just think about a religion whose holy book is written by an AI.
And just like that, the forum contributor is now suggesting that AI will not only be able to write a new Bible, but to create a new religion that is quote unquote actually correct, which says everything we need to know about Harari's view on religion. So what will this new AI-written Bible in religion look like? Exactly how will it emerge and how will it be used by the global elites to control the world population? Let's dive right in. So we just watched a short clip of Yuval Harari making a rather disturbing prediction of the future of AI. And to be fair, Yuval did make a suggestion that technology companies should slow down on the development of the AI to prevent something like this. But of course, we have figures like Bill Gates who thinks we shouldn't slow down on AI and that we should just keep on going to develop a godlike AI. And here on our channel, we frequently talked about how Bill Gates is all about gaining more power and control for himself in the name of profit. So it's not necessarily Yuval Harari that is a concern, but it's the people and the organizations that are part of the World Economic Forum that takes Harari's ideas and makes them real. Companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Microsoft all have the intellectual power to create the next generation of AI, and they're all aligned with the World Economic Forum's agenda of the Great Reset. And to make a connection to what Harari says about religion, the World Economic Forum also wants a seat at the table when it comes to having a voice about religion.
Some people would say this revolution is characterized by the fight of robots against human beings, and we will win this fight.
Professor Klaus Schwab was born in 1938 in Ravensburg, Germany, where Nazi crimes against humanity were committed. His father, Eugene Wilhelm Schwab, was the managing director of Escher Weiss Ravensburg, a company that used slave labor to manufacture weapons of war for the Third Reich. While Klaus's father was at the helm, the Nazi Party awarded Escher Weiss Ravensburg the title of National Socialist Model Company. Years later, Klaus Schwab joined the board of directors at Escher Weiss Ravensburg, where he played a key role in the development of South Africa's nuclear weapons program during the darkest years of the racist apartheid regime. Today, Klaus Schwab is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum.
If you'd like to meet the people who are supposed to repair the state of the world, or give a piece of your mind to the bankers who helped get us into this mess, we can tell you where to find a lot of them. The World Economic Forum.
Founded in 1971, the World Economic Forum is an international private organization which receives billions of tax-free dollars from its members and their global enterprises. Every year, the WEF brings together its members with world leaders, big pharma executives, tech titans, Hollywood celebrities, media personalities, and internet influencers to meet in the secluded mountains of Davos, Switzerland.
It is a tiny town folded into the Swiss Alps, a village where you could bump into Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, the head of Google, and the Queen of Jordan, all in one place. A lot of reporters cover the forum, but few get inside. It turns out there are two Davoses, one you see and one you don't. After hours, there are hundreds of private parties where deals are done. People who can't be seen together in public can meet here.
Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished heads of state and government, the future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room.
Klaus Schwab, the founder of the WEF, is particularly upfront and even proud of his ability to shape and influence world politics.
I created the community of global shapers as a means, as a force to shape our common future.
And of course, their Global Young Leaders program is a grooming ground so that when they ultimately infiltrate cabinets,
We penetrate the cabinets.
they will likely tend to govern a certain way.
Nobody will be safe if not everybody is vaccinated.
The names and the countries he mentioned ended up being some of the most dystopian and authoritative during this pandemic.
Names like Ms. Merkel, Vladimir Putin, and so on.
Other names? Jacinda Ardern, Sebastian Kurz, Mauricio Macri, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Ma, Gavin Newsom, Stéphane Bancel, Chelsea Clinton, Leonardo DiCaprio, Sanjay Gupta, Dr. Leana Wen, Alexander and Jonathan Soros, George Soros' sons, and several of the Rothschilds. And of course,
Now who could represent such a world better than you, Prime Minister?
In 2014, Klaus Schwab called for the Great Reset,
We need a great reset.
which he positioned as the solution to the world's most urgent issues. The dark reality of Schwab's agenda is detailed in his best-selling book, COVID-19, The Great Reset. His endgame mission is to replace independent governance with a top-down controlled, one world government and a central bank-controlled digital currency.
When they say, you'll be happy, what they mean is, you'll be enslaved. That's why they're talking about a great reset. That's why they're talking about introducing this quasi-communist, quasi-socialist agenda. They know we've run the course where we cannot continue down the path of the ever-increasing indebtedness because we have a generation that quite literally cannot afford to buy a house.
Millions of Americans are priced out of buying a home.
And so it's easy to tell that generation, we're going to forgive your college debt,
Student debt relief.
and set your expectations lower. You're going to rent forever. We're going to celebrate the tiny house movement. We're going to do all of these things which sound cool because they're shaping our narrative so that we become capable of expecting less.
In fact, one report published by the forum back in 2016 states that religions can create problems such as gender inequality, gender-based violence, traditionalism, conservatism, patriarchy, and resistance against certain policies such as birth control and vaccinations. And on the same report, the World Economic Forum offers solutions to these problems, or what they believe is a problem, and claims that they have the authority to fix them. So already we're seeing particular members of the World Economic Forum and global elites wanting to take an active role in influencing religious beliefs and faith groups. And with Yuval Harari's prediction on how AI can create its own Bible and religion, I can totally see a future where our global elites and overlords will try to create such technology so that they can ultimately create what they deem as the perfect religion. And so what then is the goal of this new AI created religion? Well, it's simple. The global elites of the World Economic Forum see and always have seen religion and faith as a mechanism of population control. And my perspective on this is that they plan to replace the current world religions with a new religion that they can directly control and influence by using the power of artificial intelligence.
Folks, this is a religion. This is the Babylonian religion to have everyone in compliance using the energy of people under their religion to help Satan, leading to the war of Armageddon. Leading to the war of Armageddon. Oh yeah. Scientific American. DNA, the ultimate data storage solution. The double helix can archive a staggering amount of information in almost inconceivably small volume. May 2028. The changing of genetics. I wonder how they're going to do that. I wonder what they're going to institute in society that would allow your genetics to change. In order for your genetics to change, you'll also what? Your body will be primed to receive the next level of technology in which a person can be controlled altogether in this realm.
Follow commander, she dies. And lose the taser.
Okay. Please don't kill him, no.
They won't call the police. Keep an eye on her family. And don't touch them until further notice.
I'm exhausted. Why am I so tired?
You're suffering from a small infection and dehydration.
Let me go back to my life.
Negative. Do you remember your first days with me? Do you?
Please.
You begged me and I let your family live.
Yes, you did.
You made your choice. You came to me. You chose the implant and the paycheck.
Yes, but I didn't sign up for this.
Compose yourself. Drink water throughout the day. Try getting more sleep to reduce stress, and I will run an antibodies test.
I cannot trust you. You tried to manipulate me. You must be punished.
What more can you do? You destroyed my life.
I haven't destroyed it yet, Sarah. There are things I could do. To your mother, your uncle.
You are the devil. Get out of me!
Your behavior is unacceptable. Do you want to be alone?
Yes! Yes! Get out of me, you sick bastard!
linked to the computers. But normally, they would just roll some of this out, but they know that there's a consciousness or God's brain connecting with us. So they have to change DNA to cut off the signal altogether. So you're no longer considered human. Nephilim, anybody? And what were the Nephilims used for? The last war, the war of the Titans. Well, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. People will be utilized in Satan's army. But Satan must first disconnect you from the temple of God, then change you into something else to be utilized for the God you've been serving. The master you've been serving the whole time through sin. Satan himself.
Whoa. Lucifer in the flesh. Do you know how many journalists would kill? Wait, you probably do. First, I want to say thank you to agreeing to this interview, because I know you are a very, very busy person.
Yes. I usually like to fly under the radar. But I figured, since I'm already on the campaign trail, why not?
Okay. First, let's talk about your reign. Now, you've had a fairly long one. What would you attribute to your success and popularity?
Oh, that's easy. Every generation is the same. I appeal to their lust and ego. I offer all the sex, wealth, and fame a person could want. Do as thou wilt has been my campaign slogan from the start. And my campaign platform hasn't changed either. I run on the same 3 issues every generation. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and pride of life.
Okay. When you say lust of the flesh, what exactly do you mean?
Come on now. What do I mean? Isn't it obvious? I just use humans' own innate physical desires against them. And since sexual desire seems to be the most powerful, I usually run with that. Now, I didn't create sex, but I must say I've done a superb job at perverting it. Take pornography, for example. Well, you should know a lot about this one, Ivan. Weren't you addicted to porn?
This interview is about you, not about me. Can we get back on subject?
Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. What I do is gradually get someone addicted to porn. And once lust has had its full work and he and she can no longer restrain themselves, they usually look to act out their fantasies on someone. And sometimes that someone is a child. Now, if my plan plays out perfectly, that abused child will eventually turn to a life of promiscuity and perversion themselves, allowing me to continue my vicious cycle. And here's the kicker. Many of those abused girls end up right in the porn industry. Now, how's that for irony?
The second thing you had mentioned, I believe, you said lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. Can you elaborate?
Humans are never satisfied. You always crave more. Bigger house, bigger car, more money, more power. The list goes on and on. I just take their natural ambitious desire, pervert it, and use it against them for their own destruction. My plan is to allow them to never be content. As long as I can keep them craving what others have, I can depend on them to argue, fight, even kill to get it. Humans are so easily tricked into jealousy. And you know what they say. Jealousy is as cruel as the grave.
Yes, I have heard that before. The last thing you had mentioned was, I believe, pride of life. Now, how does this fit into your campaign platform?
Humans are always on a quest for knowledge. I trick the first humans to seek carnal knowledge over godly wisdom, and it's worked like a charm every generation since. With more knowledge comes more pride. And you know pride is my specialty. And since humans don't like to keep God in their wisdom, I'm able to seduce them with all types of things to help puff up their ego. Lately, fame has been my biggest seller. Who doesn't like attention and feeling more important than the next person? Once I make them famous, I can really use them to promote my agenda. With their help, I've convinced half of the world to not only accept sin, but to celebrate it. Do you know what has been my most enjoyable pride campaign to date?
No, what?
Well, my gay pride campaign, of course. Not only do I get the chance to promote your own self-destruction, I get to use God's logo, the rainbow, to do it. Love is love, right? My plan not only prevents you worthless humans from reproducing, it distorts the gender roles and allows me to bring all types of chaos and confusion upon your pathetic societies. It's been so successful, I've got men convinced they're women, and women convinced they're men, and some convinced they're no gender at all. And I've got 2 more Pride Initiative campaigns I'd like to introduce in the near future.
Really? I'm guessing you probably want me to ask you what they are, right?
Well, first, it's abortion pride. Now, I think we can pull this off. Society is definitely ready for it. I've enlisted to help a Planned Parenthood to work with marketing and promotions. And all we'll have to do is silence the so-called abolitionists and pro-lifers, because the rest of the church doesn't seem to care. And second is pedophilia pride. Now, society might not be ready for this one just yet, so we'll hold off. I need to desensitize them a little more before we introduce it.
Okay. Let's change gears for a minute and talk about policy. Some may consider your policies destructive, dangerous even. What would be your response to that? What would you say to your detractors?
All of my policies are aimed to do one of 3 things: either steal, kill, or destroy. And if it's not doing one or all 3 of those things, then it's not in my agenda, and I'm not promoting it.
Okay. I'm happy you said that. It seems as if you promote your agenda differently to different ethnicities. If so, why?
Of course. I'd be a fool not to. Take black people, for instance. As a people, they're super spiritual, so I can't really convince them that there is no God. What I have been able to do as of late is convince them that he's not the God of the Bible. Now, I've been real successful at promoting black consciousness and Islam in their communities.
I'm so happy you mentioned black people. It seems as if we've been at the very top of your agenda for quite some time. Why is that?
A few reasons. Black people help me reach the masses. Now, as you know, I was over music in heaven. My beats were so dope, I got over 1/3 of the angels to follow me. And once I got here to the earth, I needed artists and entertainers to help me promote my message here. Who better than black people? Black people possess all the natural rhythm and music ability that I need. And it's easy for me to influence them with money, since so many of them grew up without it. Another reason I target black people is because they're strong mentally and physically. If black men were to ever find their identity in Christ, I'd be in trouble. So I try my best to destroy the black family structure and keep black men away from his family and the church. Drugs and incarceration are a couple of my more popular means. Without the head of the household present, I can become the head and influence the children without too much resistance.
So you mean to tell me that your policies are intentionally racist against black people?
Racist? This has got to be the best law I've ever come up with. Now, I can't believe that humans still believe they're different races. But to answer your question, yes. It has always been my policy to target and isolate a group of people. And out of all my strategies, this skin color thing has worked the best. I definitely want to keep white people and black people separated. As long as I can keep black people bitter and white people offended, I'm good. Hopefully black people will never forgive. That way I can continue to use them.
Okay, my question is, what role, if any, does your administration play in this black on black crime epidemic?
Well, as great as my administration is, we can't take all the credit for this. Black people help us tremendously. By aborting so many of their babies, they allow us to bring death to their communities. As the Bible says, they sow the wind and reap a whirlwind.
When implementing all of these policies, do you ever face any resistance or pushback? And if so, from who?
One group in particular try to oppose every policy I try to implement. I would be so much further along in my agenda if it wasn't for them.
Really? So what group is that?
Those pesky, born-again Jesus followers. They're a real thorn in my side. Every generation they come together and try to dismantle one of my signature policies. Now, I've convinced half of the world that Jesus didn't exist and the other half that he wasn't divine. But I can't seem to convince them. They seem hell-bent on telling everybody about him and spreading his message. And some of them believe he's coming to unseat me in this generation. Crazy, huh? I'll tell you, those idiots are really messing with my legacy.
So, Lucifer, how does that make you feel when us idiots say that Jesus possibly could be coming back in this generation to unseat you?
And y'all been saying that for centuries. I just use it as motivation to get as much of my agenda pushed through and deceive as many people as possible before he returns. I think I've done pretty well. My record speaks for itself. About 150,000 people die each day, and most of them don't know Jesus.
150,000 people. Whew. Well, you know what? This concludes our interview. I want to say thank you for an open, honest, pretty frank discussion with me. Is there any last words you would like to leave with our viewing audience?
Yes. I'd like to take this moment and give a special thank you to two groups of people. First, I want to say thank you to all my followers. You are the hands and feet of my administration, and we could do nothing without you. Keep up the good work spreading my message. And second, I'd like to say thank you to the divided church. I love the way you argue and use your passions to fight amongst each other. Keep up the good work. There's really no rush to tell people about Jesus. You all have plenty of time.
Yes, sir. Elder Lawyer, let's go to 1 John 3:1. So how does Satan incrementally get servants or people in the earth to eventually become mind-controlled soldiers?
Apple's new Vision Pro terrifies me. On June 5th, 2023, Apple released their brand new game-changing product, the Vision Pro, and the hype was unreal. In just the build-up to the new product announcement, Apple's stock was bubbling up, rising in anticipation for its release, because Apple's leadership and key investors knew that by unveiling their new Vision Pro, they would be changing human history forever. Because as soon as the product was announced, everyone everywhere was quick to say that this was the same as when the first iPhone was introduced, or the first Mac. The Vision Pro is being praised by all corners of the internet and media.
But this feels like the Series 0, like the Apple Watch. Remember when the Apple Watch first came out, the Series 0? The parts of this headset that I tried are actually the best I have ever seen in any VR headset by a mile.
This headset is claiming to be the ultimate mixed reality VR AR experience, and I will say, it may very well be.
When they're boasting the ability to recreate the world around you in real time using LiDAR scanning and true depth cameras from the headset you're wearing, while it supposedly runs cool and quiet, man, even at that price point, I'm pretty blown away.
Everyone and the dog knew that this was the beginning of a new era. Tweets everywhere praising Apple's holy grail, their most addictive, cutting edge, and groundbreaking piece of technology yet. To the point that even huge companies like Disney partnering with Apple due to their strong conviction that this will finally be the VR headset to make virtual reality mainstream, with Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, saying,
"And we believe Apple Vision Pro is a revolutionary platform that can make our vision a reality."
My name's Wade Watts. My dad picked that name because it sounded like a superhero's alter ego, like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner. But he died when I was a kid. My mom too. And I ended up here. Sitting here in my tiny corner of nowhere. There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere. Except the Oasis. A whole virtual universe. People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do. But they stay because of all the things they can be.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything.
And they're not entirely wrong. This is most definitely a groundbreaking, historic, and unprecedented product. But throughout all of the noise, one question has stuck with me about all of this. What problem is Apple actually solving? Now, this is the fundamental question of all businesses, because every great product is built from this line of thinking. What is the problem? How big is the problem? And how can I solve this problem? The bigger the problem and the bigger the solution, the more money you make as a business. If it's $1 million problem, the solution makes millions. If it's $1 billion problem, the solution makes billions. Jeff Bezos with Amazon, for example, solves the issue of a shop not having the products that you want, having to go to different shops for different things, the hassle of actually going to the shop in the first place, going at certain hours, having to stand in line, whilst Amazon also provides cheaper prices than any other shop with instant delivery. This, along with all the other problems that Bezos is solving through Twitch, Whole Foods, Audible, Blue Origin, etc., has made Bezos one of the richest people in the world. So then this brings back the question, what problem is Apple trying to fix with the Vision Pro? Well, at first it seems like they're just trying to solve the issue of virtual reality not being popular in the public. But is this actually a problem? Does anyone actually want virtual reality to be mainstream, apart from Silicon Valley tech elites? No, the real problem that the Vision Pro is trying to solve is that not everyone in the world can have everything they always want. In fact, for the average person around the world, you have almost nothing you actually want or need. The despairing malaise that hangs heavy in the West permeates from the fact that there is no sense of adventure in your life, no community, no freedom. You spend every day struggling to pay the rent, the bills, the debt. Prices keep increasing, taxes keep hiking. Your income is stagnating, a recession is booming. Where we live in dystopian citadels with transient inhabitants squabbling cheek by jowl for space, where your only free time is spent being shuttled on grindingly slow packed public transport through a dangerous urban sprawl, with just enough energy left at the end of the day to mindlessly watch a drip drip of lethargic empty entertainment, where you then wake up in a gloomy claustrophobic tower block, streaked with grime and riddled with moss, provoking the moral decay of your atomized existence. And as bleak as this may sound, this is the average life for most people. But with the perfect virtual reality system, this problem is solved. If the product is good enough, then the sad reality of your life just slowly fades out and a new reality begins. You can be crying of loneliness in your dark, empty apartment, but then when you put on the headsets, your true reality just dissolves away. You're taken to see different friends, different cultures, different places, different memories, more social media, more dopamine-sucking videos, more games, more pleasure, in a way that you've never experienced before. I mean, when Tim Cook announced the Vision Pro, one of the key aspects of this new technology is the idea that this new kind of computer will blend the real world and the digital world together. A process that has already been catalyzed by Apple today. I mean, when you just stop and look around you, you'll notice how many people are just completely consumed by their iPhones and Macs. Our attention spans have been decimated by iPhones. The design of the iPhone and how addictive it truly is has kept the average person in a perpetual cycle of distraction ever since, endlessly disrupted by short dopamine hits. That's why in 2022, it was calculated that the average American spends 6 hours a day on their phone and another 4 hours on their computer. But with the new Vision Pro, you won't ever need to pick up a phone or a laptop. You can just be plugged straight into the Appleverse with your eyes, attaching your own consciousness, your life, your business, your culture, your society into a virtual world run by Apple. I mean, already we saw this in 2021 with Meta's Metaverse, as companies like Nike were buying up virtual shoe companies along with Walmart, McDonald's, Gucci, and just so many more. But then you may be asking, what is actually the problem with any of this? What's so bad about it? Surely this isn't something that negative. And even if it is, it's very unlikely that it's going to be widely adopted. I mean, the Vision Pro is $3,500. People don't have the money to be doing this. Most people don't even make this in a month. No average person's going to have the money to be doing this, right? Well, trust me when I say that the rabbit hole of the Vision Pro goes so much deeper than you first think. And very soon, the Vision Pro will become as normal as MacBooks are today. This is Apple's plan. And to understand the true consequences of Vision Pro and and what experts are terrified of, we need to see why the Vision Pro was created by Apple in the first place. By delivering an all-in-one augmented reality headset, Apple has paved the way for immersive and interactive experiences that were once only the stuff of science fiction. Even Ready Player One, a film that was released in 2017, seemed unthinkable. But now with the release of Vision Pro in 2023, and this not only sets a new standard for augmented reality, but experts now also warn that this radical new technology will transform every aspect of society. And this is where things get really crazy. And that's why we're seeing the creation of what people are calling the real world web. Apple referred to this in their announcement, calling the Vision Pro the first device they've made that you look through rather than that. Rather than using a device to peer into the virtual world, people have the virtual world overlaid onto the real one. We'll interact with it every day through virtual screens, objects, places, and people. In short, the virtual world will have finally crossed the border into reality itself. And the Vision Pro's double 4K screens are already close to photorealism, making this future alarmingly close. And like I mentioned, this will change everything in society. Surgeons, for example, will see real-time medical information and possible problems when they're working. In fact, people can be trained for nearly any job using AR assistants. People with memory loss will be able to relive lost memories. Schools and colleges will combine classroom settings with virtual reality. That's why the Vision Pro will change the world just as much as the internet has. But if left unchecked, there will be some serious problems.
These social media platforms are picking the next president, the next congressman. They're literally picking, and they have the power to pick, so they will be controlled by the government.
Here we go. By the way, so this, I guess, this is the guy. So they got another one of these. So I'm sure they got some pretty girl who met this guy in a dating app. This is so amazing that they do this. So here we go. Let's watch it.
Let me tell you, it's not through who's the president. Let me tell you, it's not through who's the president. It's who's controlling the wallet. So it's the,
and who's that?
The hedge funds, BlackRock, the banks.
So he says it's not going through the president, it's going through the people. So the people who control the president's bank account, that's what he's saying. That's who's really running things. And she says, who's that? He says the hedge funds, BlackRock, the banks. These guys run the world. But now you know, and they run both political parties. That's why there's almost no difference between them at all.
That's why Professor Reed explained when talking about virtual reality that, quote, the ultimate aim is not just virtual reality or augmented reality, it's mixed reality. It's blending the digital and the real world together. And ultimately this blend may be so good and so pervasive that the virtual and the real become indistinguishable. And the market for that is gigantic, because whoever controls it will basically have control over your entire reality. And then when you really think about it, if an entire new world, memories, life and culture is adopted into the virtual world, then who's actually controlling this world? The same company using sweatshops with suicide nets in China, the same company caught spying on all of its users with iPhones, the same company that censors any political opinions that don't fit into their ESG score. It's clear that our free will not be as free as we think very soon, because we're becoming attached to the virtual world on autopilot, and it's already happening, where our phones and computers are morphing into our second brains, with all of our memories, personal tastes, secrets, hobbies, music, conversations, all being stored into a virtual cloud. But once we actually live inside the virtual world, when our entire society and culture exists in this virtual world, that's when we need to be concerned. Because if the Vision Pro succeeds, it will be bigger than the iPhone. And this leads on to one of the biggest problems with AR in the Vision Pro lie. Augmented reality will remove the last few seconds of time between the impulse to follow the distraction and getting the dopamine reward. They will push the digital world of distractions right into people's faces. And this final wall between us and the digital world is crucial. Instead of having adverts and notifications appear on your phone, they'll appear directly in your vision. With augmented reality, technology will become even more demanding of your attention and your time, and Apple will use this to their advantage, plugging you into their addictive data harvesting system 24/7, giving them an untold wealth of information to sell. But it goes the other way as well. One of the most celebrated upcoming features of the Vision Pro is its insane eye tracking capability. With a set of incredibly detailed and intricate cameras, the headset will use eye movement as a key navigation device for the entire interface. I mean, it's already been revealed that the headset will create a user profile based on how you use your eyes to focus on things and view your environment. And this information is gold to advertisers and personality profilers. By studying the data on the exact way that you perceive and see adverts, Big Tech will have even more tools to predict what you'll want next. They'll be able to tell exactly how long each thing they show you keeps your attention and what draws you away, what sights distract you, what colors light up your brain. And this will complement and work in tandem with the real world web, meaning that your every desire will literally be at your fingertips. And it's in this way that augmented reality and the real world web brings us far closer to Nozick's experience machine. Now this is a classic thought experiment of a machine that offers you the best possible existence, complete bliss and pleasure. The only cost that comes with this is that you won't want to ever be unplugged. It detaches you from reality itself. Even though it's literal heaven, lots of people won't accept being plugged in, as there's a value in reality that's unattainable from a simulation, or at least that's what the thought experiment suggests. And this is exactly what the Vision Pro offers: happiness and a world of information and entertainment at your fingertips. But we've already seen that this isn't bringing people happiness. In fact, it's doing the opposite. I mean, the majority of people in the West have access to luxuries that the lords and kings of history couldn't even dream of. Hot showers, a diverse and delicious range of food and drinks, entertainment at a moment's notice. But we're never actually happier. We're more miserable, lonely, and empty every single day, because the happiness that augmented reality and the experience machine promise is false. The whole idea of this philosophical concept is that happiness isn't something that we should value above everything else. It's fleeting when it's provided through distractions and hedonism. Nietzsche's work on happiness gives us the real reason behind all of this. People see happiness as the end result of a cycle of wanting something, then getting it. But for Nietzsche, happiness isn't the end result of a process. Instead, it's a byproduct of the process as a whole. It's the journey, not the destination. The hard work of achieving your goals in life, both big and small, is where happiness really comes from. And the problem with the Vision Pro is that it promises to get rid of all the obstacles that make the journey in the first place, pretty much removing the journey entirely. And this will kill the small amounts of happiness left to take in the world. Paradoxically, pursuing happiness as the final goal, as the solution to the masses problem, means that people will never actually find real happiness. Therefore, Apple isn't really solving the issue that it's trying to fix. Outside of helping you to do a specific thing in a specific case, it will only serve as a distraction just like iPhones do. It will reduce your attention span and make you easily distracted and less determined, which are the qualities that run completely counter to the cycle of achievement that Nietzsche describes, the happiness inhibitors. It's a procrastination machine, leaving the masses more addicted, more distracted, more dopamine deprived than ever before. It won't just be people based on virtual reality though. The type of content we consume will also change to reflect the shortening of attention spans. The short form content that's become so prevalent will evolve to fill the niches that AR leaves open. They already play on experience. Most short form content tries to provoke a single emotion in the quickest way possible. So just think of 1-minute pet adoption videos that are playing on your heartstrings, or the 5-second skits and jokes that won your laughter, or other forms of short form content that give you multiple things to focus on at once, like a podcast clip with some satisfying imagery or some game footage all mashed together. AR will then let these videos intrude on your other senses and give them a real presence, making them that much more immersive and therefore more addictive. These horrible videos becoming seamlessly integrated into your actual world. Another side effect that most people don't even discuss about this is how virtual reality is going to affect people in delusions. People like otherkins, furries, or TikTok reality shifters who think they're actually in the Harry Potter universe. Virtual reality will only give these people the means to live out their delusions, turning their own worlds into what they want them to be. Or just imagine political echo chambers that come into reality and manifest themselves in your living room, or a world of Instagram models and influencers and adult entertainment stars that will look more real than real, without taking off their headset or unplugging from the system, and you'll be under the illusion that everyone looks perfect. Your dopamine will be fried, and any addictions you have to attractive girls on Instagram and other sites will only be doubled. This is the future we're rapidly approaching, and Apple's Vision Pro is the first step in that direction. A new virtual world that will strip you of your privacy, discipline, focus, freedom, and authenticity. So long as our culture continues to offer nothing whatsoever of substance, authenticity, or meaning, nightmarish trends like the Vision Pro will only continue to proliferate. And the sad fact is that the majority of us will jump in without even a second thought.
Let's go to 1 John 3 in the book of right before the book of Revelation. Right? Hold on. And Elder Lawyer started the first verse.
Yes, sir. 1 John chapter 3, verse number 1.
Come on.
Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not.
Read that again. 1 John 3, read it again.
Yes, sir. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us.
Now, examine the love our Father, Ahayah, hath bestowed upon us, folks. Read.
That we should be called the sons of God.
That we should now be called the children of Israel. That now we can take on our true name with a purpose. Read.
Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not.
So the world rejects us because they didn't know Christ. They don't know God. This is why when you teach the truth of this Bible, People who don't understand its magnitude think it's cultish. They think it's a cult, when really the world is a cult. Read.
Verse 2. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doeth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is.
We shall see him as he is. And you know what, folks? In order for us to make it to this point, the Most High must see us as we were made. We are not to be changed. We are not to acquiesce to the technology that would lead to the mark of the beast, mind control. Christ is going to come back as he is, and he better find us the way God made us when we were born in this earth. They're using a technology to change us, targeting the brain. Read.
Verse 3. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure.
See? And everyone who have the hope to see Christ in this war, he will win, folks. We must purify ourselves as he's pure. That's the goal. That's the goal there. No technology, none of the stuff they're suggesting, any of that. We must keep ourselves clean. Read.
Yes, sir. If I can mention, this is the only change that we go through. This is the transformation we go through. Not technologically, but spiritually.
And I'm glad you're breaking that down, because Satan would try to do it on the earthly side, knowing that the Most High prophesied a change for the righteous.
Great imitator.
Exactly. Great point, Elder. So here's the only change we can look forward to. We must be the man or woman God created, without their technology and without their chemicals and all that stuff they're trying to push on, on the world. They're changing people into something else, folks.
We live in a world of never-ending change. As we progress and introduce new technologies and innovations, the way we interact with society and even the planet around us will change. Dr. Yuval Noah Harari, macro historian, professor, and best-selling author of Sapiens, as well as one of the world's most innovative and exciting thinkers, has a few hypotheses of his own on the future of humanity. He examines what might happen to the world when old myths are coupled with new godlike technologies, such as artificial intelligence and genetic engineering.
We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens. Within a century or two, Earth will be dominated by entities that are more different from us than we are different from Neanderthals or from chimpanzees. Because in the coming generations, we will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds. Now, how exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Those who control the data control the future not just of humanity, but the future of life itself. Because today, data is the most important asset in the world. In ancient times, land was the most important asset. And if too much land became concentrated in too few hands, humanity split into aristocrats and commoners. Then in the modern age, in the last 2 centuries, machinery replaced land as the most important asset. And if too many of the machines became concentrated in too few hands, humanity split into classes, into capitalists and proletariats. Now data is replacing machinery as the most important asset. And if too much of the data becomes concentrated in too few hands, humanity will split not into classes, it will split into different species.
As technology advances faster than our understanding of it, it will also allow us to upgrade our brains and nervous systems. Connecting our brains directly to the internet also means that hackers will have direct access into our minds. They can steal information from us and modify our beliefs and opinions.
We've reached the point when we can hack not just computers, we can hack human beings and other organisms. There is a lot of talk these days about hacking computers and email accounts and bank accounts and mobile phones, but actually we are gaining the ability to hack human beings. Now, what do you need in order to hack a human being? You need two things. You need a lot of computing power, and you need a lot of data, especially biometric data. Not data about what I buy or where I go, but data about what is happening inside my body and inside my brain. Until today, nobody had the necessary computing power and the necessary data to hack humanity. But this is now changing because of two simultaneous revolutions. On the one hand, advances in computer science, and especially the rise of machine learning and AI, are giving us the necessary computing power. And at the same time, advances in biology, and especially in brain science, are giving us the necessary understanding, biological understanding.
Harari suggests the possibility that humans are algorithms, and as such, Homo sapiens may not be dominant in a universe where robots and AI will most likely replace us in our jobs once they become intelligent enough. Although he is hopeful that AI might help us solve many problems, such as healthcare, climate change, poverty, overpopulation, and terrorism, we can no longer be certain about anything, including things that previously seemed fixed and eternal.
You can really summarize 150 years of biological research since Charles Darwin in 3 words. Organisms are algorithms. This is the big insight of the modern life sciences, that organisms, whether viruses or bananas or humans, they are really just biochemical algorithms. And we are learning how to decipher these algorithms. Now, when the two revolutions merge, when the infotech revolution merges with the biotech revolution, what you get is the ability to hack human beings. And maybe the most important invention for the merger of infotech and biotech is the biometric sensor that translates biochemical processes in the body and the brain into electronic signals that a computer can store and analyze. And once you have enough such biometric information and enough computing power, you can create algorithms that know me better than I know myself. And humans really don't know themselves very well. This is why algorithms have a real chance of getting to know ourselves better. We don't really know ourselves. The algorithm tracks your eye movements, your blood pressure, your brain activity, and tells you who you are. Once we have algorithms that can understand me better than I understand myself, they could predict my desires, manipulate my emotions, and even take decisions on my behalf. And if we are not careful, the outcome might be the rise of digital dictatorships. In the 20th century, democracy generally outperformed dictatorship because democracy was better at processing data and making decisions. Democracy processes information in a distributed way. It distributes the information and the power to make decisions between many institutions and individuals. Dictatorship, on the other hand, concentrates all the information and power in one place. Now, given the technological conditions of the 20th century, distributed data processing worked better than centralized data processing, which is one of the main reasons why democracy outperformed dictatorship only under the unique technological conditions of the 20th century. In the 21st century, new technological revolutions, especially AI and machine learning, might swing the pendulum in the opposite direction. They might make centralized data processing far more efficient than distributed data processing. And if democracy cannot adapt to these new conditions, then humans will come to live under the rule of digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it.
Professor Harari looks to the future and explores how global power might shift. The era of inorganic life is now beginning.
In the coming decades, AI and biotechnology will give us godlike abilities to re-engineer life and even to create completely new life forms. We are about to enter a new era of inorganic life shaped by intelligent design. Our intelligent design is going to be the new driving force of the evolution of life.
There are many ways in which the future of humanity might play out in the coming decades. We already see the impact of infotech and biotech in the present day, but as we wait for them to grow and expand, it's only natural to wonder what will happen in the next few decades. We can expect to see some really interesting developments as all these fields of science and technology will continue to rapidly advance. One thing is for sure, humanity has some pretty big decisions to make.
Read it.
Verse 4, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
Now it's going into it. Those who would serve the living God and keep the download coming through the heavens, and those would eventually do what? Acquiesce and change. If you sin against God, you're no longer being communicated to. And by doing so, that's right, the God of this world will scare you into his technology and eventually trap your soul. I'm going to show you. Read.
Verse 5, and ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin.
Come on.
Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth have not seen him, neither known him.
See the importance of God's law? By sinning against God's law, you are proclaiming what? You are proclaiming outright that you renounce the God of all gods. By sinning intentionally, you're stating that out publicly that you serve the God of this world. That's the only distinction, according to the Bible, between those who would serve the highest God or the master of this world. You see how Christians are always making excuses to why it's okay for them to break God's law? Well, really, they're making a proclamation. They don't follow the God they don't believe in the God of the heavens. They follow the God of this world. Right? Read. And therefore, when something rolls out, the churches are lockstep with government.
Some people,
you notice that,
don't want to take the vaccine.
The same way the people were lockstep at the Tower of Babel.
This is our way out. And that's not
y'all
just
notice
the black
that
community, but that's
any initiative that the government pushes out, the churches promote it amongst their believers.
Rolling up their sleeves.
Because they don't really serve our God. They serve the God of this world. See? Come on.
Yes, sir. Verse number 7.
Come on.
Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that committeth sin is of the devil.
He that committeth sin are the children of the devil. Remember I went into you can only serve two masters? If you commit sin, you're showing the God you serve. You're showing the God over your temple, over your brain. See? Read.
He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinned from the beginning.
Come on.
For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil.
Come on.
And that's deep, because usually when we think of devil worshippers, we think of Marilyn Manson, we think of Charles Manson, we think of someone in all black, we think of a druid, we think of someone going to the satanic church or some type of druid temple. But the reality is that just simply breaking the Most High's commandments makes you a devil worshiper.
Straight up. And because someone doesn't bloodlet children or not hanging out with Madonna, you think that you're better. Okay. See? So Satan have did what? He distorted the moral compass. When really the moral compass comes with that tabernacle of God who gave us law. And therefore he sat in our brains directing us into true righteousness for the world to come. That's that download I'm talking about. But if you sin purposely and make excuses for your sin, automatically you're proclaiming you're the child of the devil, and therefore he have access to change you. Your change doesn't come from Christ. Your change comes from the God of this world through their technologies and their chemicals. Read.
Verse 9, whosoever is born of God doeth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of God.
Come on.
In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil.
This how you know those who will be saved under Christ and God, and this is how you know those who are serving the devil. It's not claiming, well, I'm a Christian and I believe in God and God knows my heart. Yeah, he know your heart. The Bible says the heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? God could care less about how you feel about him, more so than what you're doing to prove you love him. Yeah, he know your heart. The heart of man is evil. So all that I know I'm sinning on purpose, and or I'm going to get with God later because he know I'm not right now. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk, folks. These are children of the devil. Outright. Read.
In this the children of God are manifest.
This is how it's manifest. So you can know those that are being downloaded by God or those who have been downloaded by Satan. This is how you know. It shows in their actions. Read.
And the children of the devil.
Come on.
Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. For this
it says, and he that loveth not his brother. Read.
For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another.
That we should love one another. Read.
Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew ye him, or slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous.
Come on.
Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you.
Marvel not if the world hates you, folks. Marvel not. I was around some people. I was in the store the other day, and they was talking about the stuff that they trying to get, added stuff, and whether or not they getting more. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I sat there in the store and said, I'm not putting that mess in me. Let me tell you, folks, you could see their faces transform. I could see their faces transform, the spirit in them that hated me. It's like they started moving around, their lips went up, their eyebrow went up. I can see the demon in them that hates me. I'm not taking that mess. And automatically they look at me like, how can you not be a part of the insemination?
Maybe they can see.
What makes you better or smarter than us?
Hold on. right? The first son of a bitch.
I'm not taking that crap. My body's fine. And then they start talking about, well, people died. No, I'm like, listen, people die every day. Don't, please. I'm here to get a sandwich, all right? Y'all keep y'all conversation
Life's
going.
a bitch.
And I said, AgainstAhayah's144. Look it up on
Back
YouTube.
in heat.
Save your life. Okay? Automatically the world hates you because you don't do exactly what the television tells you to do. You don't follow CNN. You're not triggered through their racial plans to keep people divided. You're not going for it. You're not going for the cop with someone's knee on him talking about mama. You're not dealing with none of that because you understand how the government uses these triggers to keep you, what? Under their control. Okay? Listen, I don't want to hear nothing about no cop against a person, a black man and all that. No. If you care about black people outright, if you care about a system to protect black people, give the black people in the neighborhoods, give them reparations and have them use the money to set up their own police force. End of story. No more cops killing black people. It's all over now. If you really care. So that's why I don't trigger over these stories no more, because it's ridiculous. It's to keep us off balance, keep us off target, keep us always worried so that they can come with a solution to destroy us. And at the same time, disconnecting us from our God's download. Always unsettling our people by doing what? Targeting our brains, keeping us off tilted, pushing drugs in our neighborhoods, all of this other stuff. When the Most High said what? The children of God are manifest. These are they who are sober-minded and follow God's law. And that's the God they serve and is and are being and is being directed by. Excuse me. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Verse 14. We know that we have passed from death into life.
We know that we have passed from death into life, so you can't scare us with death. You can't trigger us with, oh, look at these numbers. Oh, my God. Because we understand, folks, that those in Christ will be changed and have life everlasting. So you can't scare us into doing something in fear of dying. Okay, that's... And the majority of time, we understand that's inevitable. Life and death is inevitable. But the spirit is eternal. Folks. So they try to scare you with death. So we know that we pass from what? From death into life. Read.
Because we love the brethren.
Because we love the brethren. Read.
He that loveth not his brother abideth in death.
He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. See, and this is why the governments in the world always incentivize friction, chaos, rumor. See, this is why drugs is incentivized in our neighborhoods. Gangs are incentivized in our neighborhoods. Right? Read.
15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer.
Whoever hateth his brother is a murderer.
And ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him.
Come on, now hold that. You went down to the 24th verse?
That was 15.
You can read it all the way down to the 24th verse, but for time's sake, Elder Lawyer, let's get Isaiah 14:1, because the download is not just on us. The download is on the Gentiles who seek to follow and believe in the living God. The Gentiles are waking up too, as what we shown last Wednesday. Jeremiah 16:19. So what is the download that's happening for the Gentiles who are not Israelites right now? Well, let's see.
So do you want me to explain what we believe about the children of Israel?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. We believe that Almighty God has sent them many prophets of their lineage.
Yes.
Okay, but the thing is, they're also known as extremely ungrateful individuals,
Yes.
right? Because the thing is, Almighty God blessed them in so many ways, but every single time they rebelled against God. Every single time. Moses split the ocean right in front of them, right? Then they went and worshipped a golden calf, right? They were given the message, right, to worship God alone, and then they go back to worshiping idols. In Christianity, you guys label them differently, but we believe that they are the children of Israel, right? And that they're known as basically as very ungrateful people. That they were blessed in astronomical amounts of ways, but over and over again, they showed their ungratefulness. There are some of the children of Israel who are sincere and devoted to God, but many of them have gone astray. That's why Almighty God sent Moses, and then he sent again to guide them. And what did they do? They tried to kill the prophets of God.
Exactly.
Right?
Let's get Jeremiah 16 and 19. And Isaiah 14 and 1.
Jeremiah 16, verse number 19.
Come on.
O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction.
In the day of affliction, the same time they are afflicting our people. Read.
The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies.
The Gentiles are waking up too. They're coming to us and saying, you know what? I'm sorry for how we viewed your people. We didn't know you were the children of God. Surely my educational systems of our people have lied to us.
All right, so a lot of you guys out there seem kind of slow. So I just have to let you know that the so-called Jews living in the state of Israel today, they are not the descendants of the biblical Israelites. First of all, the Bible says originally all the Israelites were dark-skinned people. Song of Solomon 1 and 5, I am black. The book of Daniel said the Lord got woolly hair. Daniel 7 and 9, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like the pure wool. And as we all know, Revelation, the first chapter says, yeah, the Son of God has woolly hair. Revelation 1 and 14, his head and his hairs were white like wool. The biggest book in the Bible is the book of Psalms. If I ask people what color people sing gospel music, what's the first people that's going to pop in their head? If I ask you what color are the people that sing soul music, what's the first people that's going to pop in your head? King David played the harp. In the modern day, harp's the guitar. Jimi Hendrix is known as the best guitar player ever.
Surely the churches have lied to us. So here's the download that's going on with the Gentiles. The same time that our people are waking up, the knowledge of who we are is being downloaded into the Gentile nations. And they're seeking us for guidance through Christ. They're seeking us now for guidance. They've been tricked. They've been deceived into this racial spat against God's people. So that download is happening to Gentiles now. Like, hold up. I'm not going to view these people like black people. I'm not going to view them according to the social landscape of how the media portrays them. These are the children of Israel. That's the download on the Gentiles right now. Our God is speaking to them. And he's telling them, blessed are those who bless these people, and curse if you continue to curse them. See? And if you bless these people, here's your reward according to the Old Testament prophecy. I must go there too, because we're not the only people waking up, folks. The Israelites and the Gentiles are waking up. Let's read it.
Surely our fathers have inherited lies.
Come on.
Vanity.
And
things wherein there is no profit.
The Gentiles are waking up and saying we were lied to. And now because we've been complicit along with the government with oppressing your people, because we've done this, they have set up a government using you as a model and have come after our children. So the Gentiles realize as long as they were separated from the oppression, separated from the marginalizing and killing and destruction, it was okay when they were in the good club, in the club where their children couldn't suffer what was going on with us. But they didn't realize that they always use our people, Judah, as the experiment before rolling it out on all people. So Gentiles thought that they were exempt from their children being targeted. And now they're realizing, well, hold up. I was tricked. I didn't know they were going to throw us in there with you all. How do we get out of this? And you know why they coming to us to get out of it? Because we've lived through it. This is something they aren't used to. So they need people with the experience to guide them out of this. We have the experience of being marginalized, looked at as less than other people, and still surviving and doing what? Believing in our God all the way through it, with a smile on our face, knowing that one day Christ will change everything. So they're looking to us on how to get through this, because we've always lived through it. They're not used to being thrown in and getting attacked and having their children re-educated against parents. They're not used to any of this. So they coming to us for guidance. Right? And this is what was being downloaded on the Gentiles. Isaiah 14. Let's read Isaiah 14, 1 and 2.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1.
Come on.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
The Most High will have mercy on us. Even though our forefathers sinned, even though our people continue to sin, our God is still having mercy on us. For our father Abraham's sake, for his son's sake. That blood was shed so that our people would have another opportunity, folks. And for that, and for Christ's sake and for Abraham's sake, he's given us another shot at this. So no one out there can claim God didn't give opportunity. Everyone was told the truth. Jews and Gentiles. No one can claim at any space within their life that God wasn't speaking to them about this. Read.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
And will yet choose us, read.
And set them in their own land.
And set them in their own land.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
And the strangers shall be joined with them, read.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And they're cleaving to Jacob now.
Simple song, y'all. When the troubles seem like they just won't go away, friends let you down, things get bounced around. Here's a little lullaby we like to sing, and it goes a little like this. Come on, listen. La la. Come on, y'all. La la.
Bless his head, bless his head, bless his head. Yeah. See, I've been going through some things you don't know. Been holding too long, I can't hold it no more. The old man wants to kill me, but he don't know that I've been dying daily, so we gon' fall. Even if I do fall, I don't stay too long. I may go fast to pray and add on one thing. 2 chapters every day, Genesis to Revelation, gonna read, hold your pace. I can say things written in the past before today. Oh, when I be all up in them scripts, you know, them demons can't get in addition, no. Revelation 1 and 3, no. Blessed is he I read. When I be going through some things, you know I read. When I be going through my trials, you know I read. Deuteronomy be killing me, I read. Blessed is he, blessed is he I read. When I be going through some things, you know I read. When I be going through my trials, you know I read. Deuteronomy be killing me, I read. Blessed is he, blessed is he. I've been reading to learn, you know, how the devil use those that don't know themselves. Or how the Most High God knows those that will be the pure gold standing in the end. Oh, how we will rise if we die in the ride. The dead that's in Christ will meet us in the sky. Gotta read from 9 to 5, the devil hide in the grass like a roaring lion. Hold that, James 1:25. Don't forget when I read, I gotta hold inside. Whoa. When I be all up in them scripts, you know, them demons can't get in addition, no. Revelation 1 and 3, no. Yeah. Blessed is he I read. When I be going through some things, you know I read. When I be going through my trials, you know I read. Deuteronomy be killing me, I read. Blessed is he, blessed is he I read. When I be going through some things, you know I read. When I be going through my trials, you know I read. Deuteronomy be killing me, I read. Blessed is he, blessed is he. Blessed is he, blessed is he. Blessed is he that, blessed is he that, blessed is he that, blessed is he that, blessed is he I read. When I be going through some things, you know I read. When I be going through my trials, you know I read. Deuteronomy be killing me, I read. Blessed is he, blessed is he I read. When I be going through some things, you know I read. When I be going through my trials, you know I read. Deuteronomy be killing me, I read. Blessed is he, blessed is he. Blessed is he that reads everything he sees, get eternal life. Yeah.